when we get into the game and stuff. So this is going to be based on, my opinion and how good or how strong they are in either Mashback or Operation Verge. Um, we'll start with Eliseness. So, obviously, for Mashback, he's pretty decent. Um, in Verge, I've run into some amazing Eliseness players. Granted, I was Serenith, so I have no way to parry. But, well, I can't say I have no way to parry, but I've ran into some really good Eliseness players on Verge. I've ran into some really good Eliseness players in Mashback as well. So overall, I would say he's an A. I'd put it at an A for Verge and Mashback because, I mean, he's your first striker you play as. So you learn him really well. Aquila with the nerf. With a nerf for him in Mashback alone, he's at an A. Just because he's a really strong mech to begin with. Because you can basically fight at a distance. Now, you can fight up close with him too, but that nerf might bring him down. He's useful in Verge, but I'm going to put him at a B. Because he does have a decent amount of health, especially compared to some of these other ones. Falcon, I'm gonna put at a C. He's got mobility, and I have lost to some really good Falcon players in Mashback and Verge. But overall health, like that is his weak spot. Is he's super easy once you start getting him low. You can counter him pretty well. So I'm gonna put him at a C. Hurricane. Actually, let's do Inferno. Inferno, I'm just gonna put right at a C. Um, Granted, you can charge his main gun. He does have the lasers, but his Ox 3 is really weak. It runs out way too quick. Verge is pretty decent, depending on the map, but you have to kind of pick and choose, and you have other mechs you could run that are way better overall. Lumine. Lumine I'm gonna put at a B. I've ran into some really good Lumine players. I don't play as Lumine. Obviously, that is the Moira of Mecha Break. But I've ran into some really good players that play Lumine, and I've also had some really good Lumine players on my team, especially in Verge. You don't see him in Mashback, which is surprising. So I'm gonna put Illuminate as a B. Panaka will do the other healer too. It's basically, in my eyes, it's the Mercy of Mecha Break. Once again, this is one I don't play as, but I've had some really good Panakas on my team, as well as I've gone up against some really good Panakas on the enemy team, especially in Verge. So I think that should be up there as a B as well. Now, granted, like you can counter a lot of these. Panther, I'm just putting him up at an A, especially with his downward thrust. Like if you do that first, and then you do your spear, you charge your spear up. It's the downward thrust is unblockable. You can't parry it, so that's really good. Now mashback, that might not work. You might not be able to get that off, but in Verge, if you can get that off, you're untouchable, and you can get easily 1-hit kills or 2-hit kills. I know because I've had it happen to me, and I've also had people on my team do it. Hurricane, I'm gonna put at a B. He's really good at defending objectives, at least for the people I've had on my team. They've always been, right there with me, especially on the like move the car one. Um, Mashback, I've only ran into a couple, but I've been able to beat them pretty easily. Narukami is getting put up in S tier for me. That's for Verge and Mashback. Like, just because of the ability for him to place drones and be invisible. Like, if you don't see him and he gets the first hit, like, you gotta be prepared because he can get you from a long ways away. Serenith, one of my mains. I really like Serenith. He's just overall he's really weak, at least health wise, and every other thing. The only good thing about him would, if for Verge, is his ability to interact with the objective from a distance. Other than that, his orbital laser, the fact that when you charge it, it can still hurt teammates. I've been kind of notorious for that, so I've been kind of getting into the habit to just tapping it instead of holding it. The gun does, once you charge it, does really good damage, but very easy to counter. A lot of people literally, it'll be like 2 mechs against one every time there's a Serenith, so I'm putting him at a C even though I main him sometimes. Sky Raider. I'm gonna put Sky Raider as a C as well. Actually, we're gonna move Serenith to a D. It's because he's really easy to counter. And he is really squishy, especially in Verge. Like, I don't know how many times I was playing Verge as him trying to get wins, and I've just died at, not being able to parry or stuff like that. Sky Raider is going into a C though, so we'll go back to Sky Raider for a minute. I put him as a C because of the fact that you have to manually aim your heavy missiles in flight mode. I think you should be able to lock on and shoot one at a time. He's really easy to counter. He's slow in the air. He's not like Falcon, who's fast. Sky Raiders, he's got the health there, so he's a pretty chunky mech health wise. It's just he's super slow. He's easy to hit. He's easy to dodge the attacks too. Stego. Stego's probably an A tier. I'd put him at A tier just for him being able to guard the objectives. Like, He's really good objective based. Mechs for Verge. I do see him a lot in Mash Mac. A lot of people are running him. He's pretty good with Mash Mac. He's got a ton of health. Stellaris. Stellaris I'm going to put up in S, as well as Panther, just for his ability that can't be parried. But Stellaris, obviously, I made Stellaris. I know Stellaris the best. The fact that he can go invisible says it all. You can get a good chunk of damage with your one ability, which is where you pull yourself into them. On top of the combos, like if you know your combos, especially the, the 2-hit and then right click, you can do a ton of damage. Tricera is another good objective based one. I have seen him in Mash Max, so he's pretty pliable in Mash Max as well. Another chunky mech. I think Stego and Tricera start out around like 40k health. Welkin. Obviously, I despise Welkin players. I hate them. Mainly because of his box. Like, you get trapped in that box and you have no way to parry. You can pretty much kiss that goodbye. Like, yes, you can dodge, you can fly around, but Welkin will mess you up. So I'm probably putting Welkin in S for sure. He is super strong. He's slow though, so if you can get away from him, you got a chance for sure. Like 100%, you can beat him as long as you dodge. It's just once you're trapped in that box, you have to stay moving. So that is my Mecha Break Mech tier list. Now, obviously, I went through this kind of quick, especially after going over, patch notes. But overall, I think, this is pretty decent. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, why'd you put this back here?" Blah blah blah. Like, this should be up here. A lot of these mechs I don't run in Mash Mac. I don't run them in Verge either, unless I have to for like a mission. But overall, like, I think this is a pretty good rating, like tier list for them. So that is that. If you have any questions on, why did I put this one here, blah blah blah. Like, I think this is pretty good. Nothing further than a D, and that's just Sarnath. I think he needs a buff a little bit. Falcon. Like, I've ran into some really good Falcon players who literally mess me up as, Stellaris or Sarnath. So they are out there. He's a skill check for sure. Like, you have to be really good, like really skillful with him. A lot of these other ones are just chunky and, like Hurricane, Triceratops, Stego, all chunky, Welkin chunky. Like, they have a lot of HP. So yeah, I mean, if you have any questions or anything on, oh well, I think this match should be higher, like, by all means, let me know. Yes, this will be a YouTube video. It'll be pretty short, but it is what it is. As well as the update, we're going over the patch notes. So yeah, that is that. Now let's